Why do people think the way they do? Why do we feel emotions, dream strange dreams, or struggle with mental health? These questions gave birth to one of the most fascinating sciences of all time, psychology. Today, we'll uncover the history of psychology, meet the founders who shaped it, and explore the branches that guide it today. Stick around, because the way psychology developed might just change the way you see yourself. Before psychology was a science, it was philosophy. Thinkers like Plato and Aristotle in ancient Greece debated human behavior. Plato believed knowledge was innate already inside us, while Aristotle argued it came through experience. Fast forward to the 1600s, where René Descartes introduced the idea of dualism, the concept that the mind and body are separate but connected. He believed the mind controlled the body, but the body could also influence the mind, an early glimpse into what we'd later call neuroscience. But psychology did unofficially become a science until 1879. That's when Wilhelm Wundt opened the very first psychology lab in Leipzig, Germany. Wundt studied consciousness through a method called introspection, asking people to describe their thoughts and feelings in detail. This groundbreaking work earned him the title Father of Psychology. Meanwhile, in the United States, William James was developing his own perspective called functionalism. He was less interested in the structure of the mind and more focused on how our mental processes help us adapt to the world around us. His influential book, The Principles of Psychology, published in 1890, shaped generations of Then came Sigmund Freud, whose ideas completely revolutionized the field. Freud believed that our behavior is driven by unconscious desires, early childhood experiences, and unresolved conflicts buried deep within us. He developed a method called psychoanalysis, which explored dreams, slips of the tongue, and free association to uncover these hidden motivations. While many of his theories are controversial today, Freud undeniably brought psychology into popular culture. In the early 1900s, the focus shifted again. A Russian scientist named Ivan Pavlov demonstrated that dogs could be conditioned to salivate at the sound of a bell, even without food present. This discovery inspired John B. Watson and B. F. Skinner, who created behaviorism, the study of observable behavior. They argued that our environment is what shapes us, not some hidden, unconscious thoughts. They believed psychology should be a purely objective science. By the mid-20th century, a new perspective emerged. Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow spearheaded the humanistic movement. They felt that both psychoanalysis and behaviorism were too pessimistic. Instead, they believed psychology should focus on human potential, growth, and self-esteem. Maslow introduced his famous hierarchy of needs, a pyramid illustrating our journey towards And finally, the cognitive revolution in the 1950s and 60s brought psychology back to the mind. Researchers like Jean Piaget began to study how we process information, learn, and think, paving the way for today's cognitive science and neuroscience. Today, psychology has grown into dozens of specialized branches. Let's look at some of the major ones, shaping our world. First up is clinical psychology. These are the professionals who diagnose and treat mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and trauma, helping people find a path to recovery. Closely related is counseling psychology, which helps people deal with life's everyday challenges, like stress, relationship issues, or career transitions. Then we have developmental psychology, which studies how we grow and change across our entire lifespan, from infancy to old age. Educational psychology focuses on improving teaching methods and learning environments, making schools more effective and motivating for students. In the corporate world, industrial organizational psychology applies psychological principles to the workplace to boost productivity, improve leadership, and enhance employee well-being. And social psychology explores how we think, influence, and interact in groups. It tackles fascinating topics like prejudice, persuasion, and the dynamics of our relationships. Cognitive psychology dives deep into our mental processes, exploring memory, problem-solving, decision-making, and how we perceive the world around us. Neuropsychology studies how brain injuries, diseases, and biology affect our behavior and thinking, linking the mind directly to the brain. Health psychology examines the fascinating connection between our mental states and physical health, like how stress impacts our immune system. And forensic psychology applies psychological principles to the legal and criminal justice system, profiling criminals, working with victims, and testifying in court. Psychology even branches into specialized fields like sports psychology, military psychology, and evolutionary psychology, showing just how vast and versatile the field has become. Modern psychology is no longer just about therapy, it's deeply intertwined with technology, medicine, and culture. Advanced brain imaging technologies like fMRI allow us to see thoughts and emotions in action. Artificial intelligence uses psychological principles to create smarter, more intuitive machines. And thankfully, growing mental health awareness is breaking down old stigmas, making therapy more accessible and accepted worldwide. Psychology today is a truly interdisciplinary science, blending biology, sociology, technology, and philosophy. It's not only about healing what's broken, it's about helping all of us live better, make smarter choices, and unlock our full human potential. So, from Plato's ancient questions in Greece to today's brain scans and AI research, psychology has traveled a long and incredible road. It's a science built by the brilliant minds of Wundt, James Freud, Pavlov, Skinner, Maslow, and so many others. And it continues to evolve every single day. Which branch of psychology do you find most fascinating? Let me know in the comment side. Love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of psychology, hit that like button, subscribe for more explorations into the human mind, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, the more we understand the mind, the more we understand ourselves.